thinking about traveling to Norway or maybe trip is coming soon, well, watch this video till end. You are going to get a lot of tips and nuggets to make your life a whole lot easy and more fun while in Norway. By the way, my name is Dr. Rakesh Shah. I'm a practicing physician in the USA, and whatever I say here would be kind of compared to USA's, but I guess it will hold true if you're from other country, because there's not much difference as such. But anyway, if you like this video, do subscribe and share with your friends. Now, before even you land, everybody has a concern about safety, not just in Norway, but any country that you go. So for Norway, you don't have to worry about the safety. It's one of the safest country in the world. I mean, we didn't witness anything. And the other reason for being safe, I guess, is because there are not that many people. Only, I guess, 5.5 million people in the country, and a huge country. So you won't encounter that many people anyway. So don't worry about the safety. The second thing is, obviously, you will be landing either Oslo or Bergen airport. We landed at Oslo, and from there we rented the car. So, and the third thing is currency. Obviously, Norwegian krona is their official currency, but we didn't even have to have a krona to travel in Norway. Everywhere, everybody takes credit card. So if you have credit card that doesn't charge you overseas transaction fee, I would highly recommend you to get one of those credit cards. That way you can just keep swiping and you don't have to worry about it. You might want to keep maybe, I guess, 1,000 krona just in case if something credit card doesn't work or anything. But during our stay, we didn't have to get a single local currency. So that's something you can think about. Then Norway is overall expensive. So be prepared for almost 30-40% higher price than what you pay in USA. But that's a price you pay to visit that amazing, beautiful country. So be prepared for that, including the gas and everything is more expensive than US. Even with the inflation in the US, still expensive there. And the next thing comes is the transportation. So Norway has an amazing public transportation. I was impressed. It's a little bit expensive, I guess, like overall expensive, but an amazing public transportation. Like we had a friend who lived outside of the Oslo, and we saw that every 10 minutes the bus used to come near his house. It's mind-boggling how frequent the buses were coming. And he told me that this is throughout the year, not just in some part of the year. So that is great. And the rental car, we rented the car from Oslo, and they may not be as fast as you would expect them at the rental counter. So keeps some time. You might spend 30, 40, 50 minutes to finish all the signatures and everything at the rental counter. And if possible, get a hybrid car. And we got lucky. We didn't book the hybrid car, but the lady at the rental counter, at the budget rental counter, Avis, she gave us the hybrid car, and that actually worked out well because of the gas prices. Not that we couldn't afford it, but it always helps to save some gas. So you can get the hybrid car and get a standard SUV. That would be better, especially if you're traveling in the winter time. And make sure in the winter time you have the tire prepared for the icy, snowy weather. And we went in summer, so there was no snow or ice anywhere. So we were okay with not having any winter tires, but I guess that's one of the requirements. So the rental company should be prepared for all those things, including the emergency kit, because when you're driving, you probably will be in the middle of nowhere, and getting the medical help may take time. So be prepared for that. And the roads are excellent, road conditions, even in the remotest area, the roads are excellent. So you won't have any problem in the road itself, but the roads are curvy and windy and steep. And so it's a very attention loaded travel. You have to pay attention to the road, otherwise you can get into trouble. Plus, there are so many blind spots that you cannot see the car coming on. So plus the roads are kind of narrow, so you have to be very careful about passing the other car and other stuff. So that is only thing, but otherwise road conditions are perfect. And the highest speed limit, I believe, is 110 kilometers per hour, but there are speed cameras everywhere, so be careful about it. So far we have not received any ticket yet in the mail or in my credit card, but I was told that they're very strict about the speed limit, and even in the tunnels, and they having, like, you will see a sign there with the camera, and then next sign you will see they will say 0.4 meters to 4 kilometer. That means from 400 meters to 4 kilometers, they will be clocking your timing, like entry time and the exit time, and based on that they will decide your speed. So make sure you slow down for sure. I mean, overall you should driving within the limit anyway, but that is how they get you the ticket. And there is a zero tolerance for the alcohol, so don't drink and drive. So make sure you do that. Plus gas, when we were there, it was almost $2 per liter, not gallon, $2 per liter, so pretty expensive. And there are not that many gas stations, the petrol pumps. So the moment your the gas sign goes below half, make sure you fill it as soon as you get the gas station. Otherwise you might be stranded in the middle of nowhere. And I'm sure they have services like roadside assistance and AAA, kind of what we have in US. But don't depend on that. Get the gas as soon as you get the gas station. Don't pay attention to the price, just get the gas, okay? And obviously you're driving on the right side of the road, just like in the US. So for us it was pretty easy driving. And then you will end up taking ferries. If you're driving cross country, you will take the ferry somewhere on the route, because not everywhere road goes. So you go to the ferry town, and you just stand in the line, and within 10 minutes the ferry will come, and they will charge you based on the license plate. So you don't pay anything to the ferry when you get in. And I was told that the passengers are free, so they charge per the vehicle. So that's what the ferries, and ferry service is pretty amazing. So you won't have any problem with that. They do have Uber. So like in Oslo, we took Uber to go to Oslo Opera House from our Airbnb in the Gamel area, I think. So you can take Uber. And in Oslo, they have a transit system, pretty good transit system, and they have an app called Router, Rutter. So you can book the tickets on the app. They have Router with a white background and Router with the red background. The white background, you can plan the whole route. It will tell you what bus to take and how much to walk and which train to take. And you can book the ticket on that white background app, and on the red background app only you can buy the ticket. So just a small nuggets about that is that in the ferries, you basically go with the car, and most ferries will have a restroom. The reason I said about the restroom is that restrooms are not that frequently encountered in Norway. So any chance you get, two things, petrol and the restroom. Any chance you get, you see the gas station, get the gas. Anywhere most of the gas stations will have a restroom, and most of the grocery stores will have a restroom, but it's not that frequent. So any chance you get to use the restroom, use it. Otherwise the next one may not be that close by. And the restroom in the gas station and the grocery stores, they are free. But many of the public attraction places, you have to actually pay 15 kronas to use the restroom. So keep those change ready. But even those restroom, take the credit card, so you don't have to worry about that. And the Norway is a country of tunnels, so you are going to encounter tons of tunnels. Like from Voss to Bergen, we drove, there were 33 tunnels. Okay, so tunnels are amazing, well lit, and very safe, and you will love it. And the tunnels will have like a markers where it say, like, the arrow goes up, that means that how many how many kilometers remaining, and down arrow means how many you already traveled. So that way you know, because there are tunnels which are 24 kilometers long. I think that's the longest tunnel. So you will have you can judge that. But most of the time you won't have any car passing or anything in the tunnel. There's not many people. And sometimes you may get stuck behind a slow car because there's only one-way road or two-way roads. So that can slow you down. But most of the time you won't have any problem going at the standard speed that they allow. And some roads are closed in the winter. So before you venture out in winter, make sure that you check the road conditions and make sure they're not closed. And the distance may fool you. Like in the US, you say, oh, there is only 100 miles, so I can do it in an hour and 20 minutes, something like that. But no, not in Norway, because of the roads are curvy and windy and steep. So the time it takes to travel the same distance compared to US may be almost 30-40% more. So count that when you plan your trip. Okay, so that was a nutshell about the transportation, and then we'll move on to the lodging part. Now about the lodging, we stayed in Airbnb everywhere. I don't know about the hotels, but many of the Airbnbs, they don't provide the basic necessity, which is like a soap in the bathroom and towels. Like the one we had, they actually had it, but if you go through the Airbnb, some of them will say that the guest has to bring their own towels. I don't know why, but that's the way it is. So be prepared for that. We carried two microfiber towels with us, but we never had to use it. Then the second thing is that the force of the water is too high. So when you open the faucet, boom, you will have water coming out. So, if you have something underneath the faucet, it may splash on your face. Not a big deal, but just remember that I have seen the very high force of the water there. And the bathroom, they don't have like a standard lock we have in the US, or I guess anywhere in the world. They actually have a lock with the key. So most of the Airbnbs we stayed, they had one key for two bathrooms, So if you want to lock the bathroom from inside, you have to actually use the key. Otherwise, it's open. Okay, so that's one thing. And other than that, obviously the Airbnb would be expensive too overall, just like the country. Then as far as the food, the Norway is not a restaurant culture like US where everybody eats out. No. So you won't find that many restaurants. You will really have to look for the restaurant. So make sure you carry some food with you while you're driving. Otherwise, you may not find many restaurants. And grocery stores you will find in almost all the small towns like Kiwi and Ram 1000, I believe. Those were the two grocery stores we saw everywhere, and that's where we shopped. And many of the places are closed on Sundays, so don't remember that Sundays you won't be able to find even a grocery store open. So yeah, you will find a gas station open. So if you have anything urgent, you can get it from the gas station. But most of grocery stores and most of the attractions, they close at 5 p.m. and they close on Sundays. So check ahead of the time before you venture out on anything. Okay. The other thing about the restroom, like in the US, you see the water fountain next to the restroom when you come out. It's a standard feature in the US, but in the Norway, there are no water fountains next to the restroom. So, but a good thing is that you can drink the tap water. It's a pretty safe to drink the tap water in Norway. And the power outlet is a standard European outlet like that goes inside thing. So you obviously have to carry the converter adapter for the power outlet. And most of the Airbnb did not have any USB outlets yet. I guess after a few years, everybody will have a USB outlet. Most hotels probably have it, but we didn't stay in the hotel. And the other thing is the internet. I was impressed with the speed. Wherever we stayed in the Airbnb, the internet speed was amazing. So you won't have any problem. Plus, most of the places that you go, public places, will have a Wi-Fi, so you won't have much problem. Now, the cell phone can be tricky because what I was told is that there is a company called MyCall. Only that company's SIM card you can get without the Norwegian D number. They call it D number. I guess it's just like a social security number in the US. So without the D number, you can only get MyCall SIM card. And 7-Eleven person told me that she has to call my call, and since it was Saturday, it will be activated on Monday. So be prepared for it. If you're planning to get a SIM card, that might not get activated right away. So it may be totally store dependent, but that's what we encountered. So check on that before you buy a SIM card. For the emergency, first aid can be far away if you're in the middle of nowhere. So you may have to carry some first aid stuff with you. Other than that, if you want to call police, it is 112. 112 is police, 113 is ambulance, and 110 is firefighter. So just remember those numbers. I hope that you won't have to use it, but just in case. Before we went to Norway, we looked online, and at many places we found that Norwegian people were not friendly and blah, blah, blah. But as far as I am concerned, everybody we encountered, they were very friendly, except I think one at a ski jump in Oslo. The staff, we reached right before they were closing, so we could not get in. But the people who were leaving the place, they were not that friendly. But I guess because they were about to close everything and go home, they were not in the mood to talk to us. But other than that, everybody was very friendly and helpful. Whosoever we asked, they guided us. And also, almost everybody spoke English, so we didn't have to worry about learning Norwegian. Although it will always help to learn few phrases in Norwegian, because that shows that you care enough about the local people. So I memorized few phrases, and actually, I told you about the hybrid car. I guess that was the reason I got the hybrid car, because I used few Norwegian phrases with the lady. She was speaking fluent English, but then I say, to sentak, and say that is thank you. And she was very happy to hear that, and she said, what, I'm going to give you a hybrid car. And she gave me the car with the GPS built in, and they didn't charge me for that. So what, those things does work, and it's not like you're trying to trick people into it. But if you learn few Norwegian phrases, it will really show people that you care about the local people. Okay, so we really had a great time in Norway. You're going to love the country. It's a beautiful country. I've been to many countries. And what I like about Norway is that there is an endless beauty. You keep driving and driving and driving, and that beauty never ends. Especially if you're in the Westland, like Voss and Bergen area, the fjord, and it's just mountains, like towering mountains, and the scenery that it creates, it's just out of this world. So have fun, and if you have any question, just put this in the comment box, and I will reply back. And once again, do subscribe to the channel. My name is Dr. Rakesh Shah, and signing out from Atlanta, Georgia. See you in the next video.